Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Betting Series here on YouTube Premier League Edition. It's game week 37 and the season's drawing into a close. There are a lot of games that have a lack of meaning in them, but I've done my best to find 4 games that do have some meaning for this episode. So if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off with 13th place Fulham playing host to 2nd place Manchester City. Fulham played against Brentford in their last game, a goalless draw which neither side really created enough to make the breakthrough, and they may very well be on the beach already. That result means no wins in Fulham's last 3 games and just the 1 victory in their last 7 Premier League matches. It appears the Cottagers have taken their foot off the pedal since securing safety in the league. The away side Man City, they hit 5 goals past Wolves, with Erling Haaland proving he's slightly better than League Two standards, scoring 4 of the 5 goals and getting a hat-trick within the first half. That result means that City have won 6 games back-to-back in the Premier League as they look to retain their Premier League title. Head-to-head, the last game took place in early September, with City running out convincing 5-1 winners, and this was in large part thanks to Erling Haaland scoring, you've guessed it, another hat-trick. Going further back, City have won each of the last 12 encounters, with Fulham failing to pick up a point since 2012. With no Champions League football to play, and Man City going from strength to strength as the title race draws to a close, I can't see anything other than a convincing win for the citizens here. At odds of around 1.2 to 1.3, the away win looks a tad shorter for my liking, however I have managed to find some value in the handicap market. Manchester City -1 appears fair value for me, which means if City win by more than 1 goal, the bet cashes and we take our profit. If City win by a single goal, the bet is void and we get a push. And any other result means we're going to take a loss. But given the recent track record between these two sides, I don't think City are losing here. Given the recent competitive record, this -1 Asian handicap bet would have cashed in 9 of the last 12 encounters, with the other 3 results seeing our stake refunded. Additionally, City have won each of the last 5 Premier League games by 2 or more goals, and each of the last 3 away games by 2 or more goals. So there's no drop-off on the road for the reigning champions. So I'm going to be taking Manchester City -1 on the Asian handicap for a full stake in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 15th place Everton playing host to bottom of the league and already relegated Sheffield United. Everton took a lead in their last game thanks to a rather unnecessary penalty from Luton's perspective, before conceding an equaliser just 7 minutes later, with that game finishing 1 goal apiece. Despite dropping the lead in that game, Everton are still unbeaten in their last 4, winning 3 of these matches, a run that has really seen the Toffees mathematically secure survival in the Premier League, despite their points deduction. They play a relegated Sheffield United side who once again disappointed in their most recent game, despite creating a good amount of chances and producing a combined XG of 2.27. The Blades lost at the hands of Nottingham Forest by 3 goals to 1. It does appear that Sheffield United are going down with a whimper. That result means they have lost 5 in a row and they're winless in their last 12 league matches. When we look at the head-to-head record, the reverse fixture finished 2-2 at Bramall Lane, a draw which was seen at the time as a really good point for Sheffield United, as they lost on almost every major win predicting statistic. They also benefited from a Pickford own goal for their second goal of the game. For this game, I think we're looking at a pretty straightforward home win here. I think both sides can now relax as their fate at the end of the season is settled. This may encourage some more progressive football from Sheffield United, leaving them open at the back. Basically, I'm looking at the same performance we saw in the most recent game against Nottingham Forest last week. I'm going to go for a home win in this one, but to mitigate any potential losses, this will feature as the first part of a double. The second part of this week's double features 5th place Tottenham Hotspurs hosting 19th place Burnley. And Spurs, well, they simply can't defend. They allowed 4 goals in their most recent game against Liverpool, and they even made the lacklustre Mo Salah look good once again. This does mean that Spurs have the unwanted record of 4 straight losses in the Premier League. They could lose out on 5th place to a confident-looking Newcastle side if things don't change soon. They play a Burnley side who were bested by Newcastle last week by 4 goals to 1. A goal at the end of the match added a bit of respect to the scoreline, but looking at the stats, the result was never really in doubt. This does mean it's just 1 win in the last 7 for the Turf Moor side, but they still have an outside chance of survival. If they win their 2 remaining games and Forest lose both their 2 remaining games, Company's side will secure a second year in the top flight. Given the nature of today's opposition, I'd suggest that is unlikely. A case which is made more evident when we look at the reverse fixture, where Spurs ran out 5-2 winners. Burnley made the breakthrough after only 4 minutes before an avalanche of Spurs goals put the game beyond all doubt. Once again, Burnley managed to add a late consolation goal to give the game the appearance that it was slightly closer than it was in reality. With Burnley still fighting the good fight against relegation and Spurs still needing to pick up points to secure 5th place, I think we're in for a really intense and competitive affair here. Burnley need the win, and it's as simple as that. Burnley really need the win. It is as simple as that. And Spurs are very good on the counter. So whether it's through progressive play or on the breakaway, I think Spurs will put a few goals past the visitors here today. Considering Spurs' lackluster form, however, I don't want to back them outright on their own. So I'm going to be combining them with the Everton pick earlier and making it a half-stake double, Everton to win and Spurs to win in the 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday. Our third and final bet of today's episode sees 8th place Manchester United playing host to 1st place Arsenal. United lost in some disastrous style, 4-0 against Crystal Palace in their most recent game. That particular match was the 13th loss this season, which is a Premier League record for the club, and not in a good way. Form-wise, United have only won 2 of their last 7, and their hopes of European football are fading fast, with confidence on the floor. The away side Arsenal, in their most recent game, they ran out convincing winners against Bournemouth. They're very much waiting for a Manchester City slip-up to secure the title, but they do need to keep winning themselves. Arsenal have won each of the last 4 in a row and 6 of the last 7, the exception to this being the 2-0 loss at home against Aston Villa. Did that cost them the title? When we look at the head-to-head record, Arsenal won the reverse fixture by 3-1 at the Emirates in September. After the scores were tied at 1-1 for the majority of the game, Arsenal managed to get 2 goals in the 96th and 101st minute to take all 3 points from the Manchester side. Going back a little bit further, Arsenal have won both of the last 2 Premier League encounters, as well as 3 of the last 4. My prediction for this one is that Arsenal will win the game. They've shown over the course of the season, as well as the head-to-head records, that they're a much stronger side than a hapless Manchester United this year. Arsenal have the better players in pretty much every area of the pitch, except maybe for striker. An away win is the way forwards for me, and I'll be backing Arsenal for a full stake for the final bet of the episode. So there we have it, 3 selections across 4 games today, starting with Manchester City against Fulham. We're backing the away side at -1 on the Asian handicap, odds of 1.33, a £30 stake to return, £9.90. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs on the Saturday, we're backing Everton and Spurs in a double. We're mitigating any potential losses by combining the 2 selections, odds of 1.67, a £15 half stake to return £10. And finally, the only game on the Sunday in the Premier League, Arsenal to beat Manchester United, odds of 1.42, a £30 stake to return £12.30. So across our 3 selections, we're going to be risking £75 to hopefully pick up as much as £32.20. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.